Hello, YouTube. Thank you for watching Rain Shine Fine. I am coming at you with another book review. Um, this is for those viewers who want to know about interesting books, spiritual books of different topics. I do book reviews from a regular, schmegular point of view and give people insights into what to expect. So, the book that I'm going to be reviewing this time is called The Woman Who Glows in the Dark. It's by Elena Avila and Joy Parker. Elena Avila is a Mesoamerican or a Mexican American author. She is a trained RN and also a curandera. Curandera is a Spanish word for like a traditional healer. She has Aztec background and has grown up with in her childhood with home remedies that she learned growing up in the Southwest, I believe. So it's The Woman Who Glows in the Dark, a curandera reveals traditional Aztec secrets of physical and spiritual health. And essentially, the book is about 330 pages, but it reads sort of like a story or a novel. She talks about her life, going from somebody who didn't really want to embrace her heritage, being Mexican, and then specifically having indigenous background with her ancestors. Because she grew up in the United States, and in order to assimilate and not be the odd one out, she tried to kind of avoid that part of herself. And then she went into school, trained formally, got her master's in nursing and things like that, was working in a psychiatric hospital and a crisis center for women, and kept coming across women who weren't just physically ill, but spiritually ill, had gone through some type of abuse, and that could range from being molested or going through emotional abuse all the way up to rape. And what she noticed was that spirit and the soul were just as important as the physical health and the mental health of the person. She has been in the environment of institutional medicine, in hospitals, and she realized that over time she was drawn to that curandera, the traditional healing modalities and practices, which include burning copal or incense, embracing Native American types of modalities, doing cleansings, listening to people through essentially what is talking or deep like analysis of the person's life. She would do soul retrievals over, a couple decades, and people in the community started to trust her. They started to, doctors and physicians started to recognize that traditional healing as time went on. They started to recognize the traditional healing through using herbal medicine, recognizing the spirit, bringing in faith and spirituality into medicine is something that is very beneficial for people. She talks in her book about all of the different types of patients and people that had come through to her for her traditional healing when other forms and other practices didn't work. And I really like the book because it talks about indigenous medicine, indigenous healing, and how it's very important to also incorporate that with modern medicine. And it shouldn't be separate. If somebody is comfortable or a patient is comfortable with a particular type of treatment, then that should be respected. A person who comes in, for example, she has one of the patients who came in to see her, or one of the patients she saw at her work in institutional medicine, was somebody who was a war veteran who lost their limbs. Well, they're physically okay after their legs were amputated, but spiritually they were not. And they struggled with addiction, with abuse of drugs. And that addiction, the abuse, the depression, all of the things that were underlying in many of the patients she saw was something that had to do with their spirit. And she struggled with that in the beginning when she was in modern environment in hospitals and clinics, because doctors did not want to recognize that. They said that that's a separate, something that should happen outside of that environment, and she didn't agree. So she created her own practice and started healing people. And the book talks a lot about all of those things and how it's very important to recognize traditional spirituality, and how many indigenous people already knew how to use herbs and plants to heal those things and bring people back to themselves. So essentially, the book is about recognizing and trying to find a way to join the traditional, the long-lasting and well-known practices of people over generations with current medicine, surgeries, hospitals, and how they should both be respected. And oftentimes, the former is not. So if you would like The Woman Who Glows in the Dark, you can definitely, I believe, buy this on Amazon or any bookstore. And it can be read over and over and over. What I really liked is that she talks about her patients and the experiences she's had, and you can always resonate or recognize at least one of the stories, or somebody who might go through something like that. And she talks about some of the patients that she wasn't able to heal as well. I like that part because we are human, and sometimes you're not able to help everybody. And so The Woman Who Glows in the Dark, again, the importance of traditional healing, medicine, traditional modalities, spirituality, soul retrievals, guiding people back to their spirit. And if you would like a copy, please support the author. Thank you. This has been Rain Shine Fine with another book review, and have a good day.